while I unreservedly and absolutely condemn the language which was used by Kim Johnson in Parliament the other day, and while I also think her apology was not an apology and was really a self-justifying excuse to repeat basically the same charges she'd made, her problem was that she was vague and imprecise. And if you are vague and imprecise in your attack, you stand every chance of causing offence. So, although I think there are serious problems in the state of Israel, I don't think that by invoking the Holocaust, one is doing any services to Israel or to anybody else. I think one is simply treading in what is anti-Semitic rhetoric and very foolish polemic. I don't think one's doing anything positive. I think there is a positive contribution that we can make in the West when we are looking at the modern politics in Israel, and that is to be precise. And I think there's every reason to be critical of the current government in Israel. And I'm thinking of people like Yarin Levin. I'm thinking about the Prime Minister, Netanyahu. I'm thinking about Zvika Fogel of Jewish Power, who accused opposition leaders last week, Yassir Lapid and Benny Gantz, of treason against the homeland. It's outrageous. And so many of these right-wing, extreme right-wing politicians who have seized power, who have got power in the state of Israel, are intent on furthering the occupation of Palestinian land and developing the settlement process. Indeed, they're developing trades in the occupied territories and encouraging people to come and visit them. We should say no. We should say no, we are not going to endorse that sort of trade. We're not going to promote that sort of ideology because it seems to me to be against the ideology of the founders of the State of Israel. The founders of the State of Israel were fleeing oppression during the 1930s and 1940s. And so many of them had a very idealized concept of what their homeland could be. And I think that's very far from the homeland which is being promoted by Mr. Netanyahu, where LGBTQ plus peoples are now being discriminated against, where the Palestinian oppression is at its height, where extremist party leaders like Itamar Ben Gviv and Bezalel Smotrich seem to have got significant power. And I think by being very specific, we can contribute to this debate. By being vague and by using language which can be misunderstood and which is in itself fundamentally offensive, we are simply adding to prejudice, and we are adding to a scenario which is broadly anti-Semitic, and it is racist because it is unthinking and it is unhelpful. We can be helpful. I think we should promote a positive state of Israel, a state of Israel that contributes not only to the immediate area, but to a healthy image around the world. And I think we should decry anything that doesn't contribute to that. So while I utterly condemn the way Kim Johnson approached her subject, I absolutely applaud anyone who is speaking in favor of the oppressed Palestinian people, and anyone who is specific in their criticism of Israeli policies at the moment and of specific Israeli politicians. But the state of Israel itself is a positive. It's a great positive in the Middle East, and it's a great positive signal of hope after extraordinary oppression and extraordinary injustice. The state of Israel should be a symbol of peace in our world, not a symbol of hostility. And we must do everything to make sure that is the case.